our 3 warm-up problems. So you start out, you need to get your variables on the same side of the equal sign. So you have your brick wall up here. If you subtract 7x from both sides, then you have negative 5x equals positive 15. Divide both sides by negative 5, and you're left with x equals negative 3. And that's your answer. For number 2, you have 4 times a quantity. So you need to multiply your 4 by both terms in your quantity or distribute it. You get 4 times p, and 4 times negative 1, 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, equals 3p plus 2. And again, you have your variables on both sides of your equal sign. So you subtract 3p from both sides, and you have p minus 4 equals 2. Add 4 to both sides, and your answer should have been p equals 6. For the next one, we have to do a couple of things. We have to do our exponent on the right-hand side, but on the left-hand side, we have to distribute. So we have 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times negative b is negative 5b is greater than 25. Then we can just subtract 10, and don't forget about your negative 5b. So negative 5b is greater than 25 minus 10 is 15. When you divide both sides by negative 5, remember, when you divide by a negative right away, I'm going to flip it to less than, and get b is less than negative 3. All right, so now we're going to be solving inequalities with variables on both sides. The first thing, 3 little steps. First, what I do is simplify both the left and the right side individually. Then, step number 2, everything's simplified. Get your variable on one side. Get variables on either the left or right side using addition or subtraction. And I apologize about the pen, guys. I think it's the recording that's making it so choppy. And step number 3 is to solve. Step 4, graph. If you need to hit pause and write these down, you're more than welcome to do that. We're just going to jump into it though. First thing, number 1, we have here 4x is greater than 7x plus 6. So I'm going to subtract 7x from both sides. 4x minus 7x is negative 3x is greater than or equal to 6. Divide by negative 3. Remember, when you divide by a negative right away, we're going to flip it. Went from greater than or equal to less than or equal to. X is less than or equal to negative 2. Now to graph it, we have a number line. Remember with negatives, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, it's less than or equal to. So you're going to have a closed dot, and it's going to the left, because these are numbers, if you would plug them in, they would work if you plug them in to check into the original. Number 2, we can't simplify anything on either side, so let's put our variables on, either addition or subtraction. I always think it's easier to add. So if we add 2x, because it's negative 2x, and negative 2x plus 2x is 0, so we have 7, and I apologize, these are t's, 7t plus 1 is less than 0 minus 6, which is just negative 6. Subtract 1 from both sides, you get 7t is less than negative 6 minus 1 is really negative 7 when you do your subtraction. Divide both sides by positive 7, and you're left with t is less than negative 7 divided by 7 is negative 1. So now let's go ahead and make a number line. Negative 1 in the middle, negative 2, and 0. You'd have an open dot on negative 1 going to the left because t is everything smaller than negative 1. Number 3, ooh, we have all kind of good stuff. So if we need to simplify on the left-hand side first, let's go ahead and do our distribution. 2 times k is 2k. 2 times negative 3, because we're multiplying by that negative, is negative 6, is greater than, if we look at just the right-hand side, you have 6 minus 1, which is 5, plus 3k. Now, they're both simplified. Let's go ahead and put our variables on the same side. So I'm going to, if I have positive 2k, and remember, if you're somebody that right away said that you should add 2k because you're looking at this negative, it's a positive 2k. How to get from positive 2k to 0? You have to subtract 2k because 2k minus 2k is 0. Bring down your negative 6 minus 2k. So negative 6 is greater than 5 plus k. Now we can subtract 5 from both sides. Negative 6 minus 5 is negative 11 is greater than k, or k is less than negative 11. Go ahead and graph them. Negative 12, negative 11, negative 10, an open dot, and it's less than, everything going to the left. Number 4. Number 4, now we have a greater than or equal to. So let's go ahead and do the same thing. Simplify on the left-hand side. 4 times y is 4y. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, is greater than or equal to 4y plus 2. Well, now let's go ahead, put our variables on the same side. 4y minus 4y goes to 0. 4y minus 4y, oh no, can I have this equals 0 and the right-hand side? Absolutely, because 4y minus 4y is 0. So we have 0 minus 4 is greater than or equal to 4y minus 4y is 0 plus 2. Well, 0 minus 4 is negative 4. Negative 4 is greater than or equal to 2. Oh, do you remember all the way back from chapter 2? If you had two things that didn't equal each other, this will never be true. Negative 4 will never be greater than or equal to 2. So this is not true. I bet you're thinking what the answer is. It is no solutions. You could plug whatever you wanted in for x, and it would never come out to work. So you don't even have to graph anything. Let's go to number 5. X minus 2 is less than x plus 1. Let's put our variables on the same side. I'm going to subtract x. Subtract x. Remember, this is really a 1x. 1x minus 1x is 0. Minus 2 is less than x minus x is 0 plus 1. Well, 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Is less than 0 plus 1 is 1. Is negative 2 less than 1? Yeah, this is true. Do you remember from chapter 2, if you had something like 3 equals 3? Well, it's the same thing. It's all real numbers. All real numbers. That would be your solution. Or you could write the fancy looking R. The next one, number 6, right here, is different than the one on your notes. Your notes is this one down here, so let me go ahead and pull this one up here. This one, I just came up with this question a little bit ago. It's going to help you on your homework with number 48. So your homework, number 48, is very similar to this one. So make sure you have your notes out while you're trying it. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's look at the left-hand side. We need to do a little bit of distribution. Negative 1/4 times n is just negative 1/4 n. Negative 1/4 times positive 9. I'm just going to go ahead and show you in the scratch work negative 1/4 times positive 9, which is 9 over 1. You're going to get negative 9 over 4. Let's just leave it as that fraction. So we get negative 9 over 4, all of it plus 1/4 n is less than or equal to 1 minus n. If you combine your like terms on the left, you have negative 1/4 n and positive 1/4 n. Well, don't those just go to 0 when you combine them? So you get 0 minus 9/4, so you have negative 9/4 is less than or equal to 1 minus n. Then what I did is subtracted 1, because positive 1 minus 1 is 0, negative 9/4 minus 1. And if you show again some scratch work on the side, negative 9/4 minus 1 is the same thing as negative 9/4 minus 4 over 4. Change it to add the opposite, you get negative 13 over 4. So you get negative 13 over 4 when you do your addition. Is less than or equal to 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 minus n. This negative, see this negative in front of here? Remember when there's a negative in front of something? Negative 1 times n. So we have to get rid of that negative 1. How we do that is, well, since it's times, the inverse operation is to divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. Oh no, we divided real quick, switch the sign of your inequality. Greater than or equal to, so you have negative 13 over 4 is greater than or equal to n, or if we flip it around so the variable's on the left, n is less than or equal to negative 13 over 4. If you would put that on your number line, well, what is negative 13 over 4? Well, let's think about it. How many times does 13 go into 4? It would just be negative 3 and 1/4, or negative 3.25. So on my number line, I'm going to go ahead, and a negative divided by a negative, this is positive 13/4. Positive, positive. So we have 2, 3, 4, 4 1/4. So this would be 0.25, half, 3/4, and it's closed dot because it's less than or equal to, and everything shaded to the left. Now that we're done with this part, on the back of your note sheets, if you were not here the day before, after the quiz, please fill these down. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and do the word problems on the back.